our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air gotta move. So it moves over to our good air space.
When China has bad air, it moves over to our good air. Okay, so that is Senate candidate in Georgia, Herschel Walker. You guys have known him because you watch this show, and he is at an Independence Day picnic at a Hall County. Excuse me, and he is clearly waxing about climate change. I think that's where it's going. I feel like this is part of that good air, bad air. It's very Trumpian for as much as he wants to not give Trump credit for anything and any part of his rise. Let's watch the rest of what Herschel Walker had to say. Maybe it got better.
And they would talk about the Green New Deal. Climate change. We in America have some of the cleanest air and cleanest water of anybody in the world. Yes. So what we do is we're gonna put from the Green New Deal millions or billions of dollars cleaning our good air up. So all of a sudden China and India ain't putting nothing in there cleaning that situation up. So all that bad air is still there. But since we don't control the air, our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air gotta move. So it moves over to our good air space. And now we gotta clean that back up.
As someone who does stand-up comedy, like that's like a solid C routine, which is not bad. Like that's a good open mic routine around like climate change. Good air has to move. Where does it move? Over our airspace. Now we gotta go to war like that. But even for that, I feel like he could have done a little bit better. But our air is so clean. David, our air is incredibly clean. I wonder why our air is clean.
Well, the argument that I've heard from some conservatives, and let's put aside Herschel Walker just for a second, is that why is the United States bothering to have clean air or spending a lot of money to clean up our environment when China and India are not? And therefore they're gonna contribute to the planet continuing to essentially be on fire. And there's a whole sort of debate over that. What comes out though, when somebody dumbs it down, or somebody who's been hit in the head one too many times like Herschel Walker tries to explain that conservative talking point, you get that, well, we got good air, they got bad air, the bad air's got someplace to go. No, it doesn't. It's just Herschel Walker's trying to make some sort of conservative point and he can't because he's not articulate or intelligent enough to do so. But this is how the argument comes out among people who don't know anything, who speak like this, who speak in very simplistic terms. And that's where I hope we're not getting distracted by Herschel Walker's idiocy over this and recognizing, what can conservatives believe this nonsense?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say it is just really Trumpian because with everything Trump says, you're sort of like inferring. I think he means that China needs to pay its fair share. I don't really know, but I'm giving him so much of the benefit of the doubt. The reason, obviously, that we have cleaner air in this country is because of regulation. So obviously, the Nixon administration, graphic 4, created the Environmental Protection Agency in 1970. The same year Congress passed the landmark Clean Air Act. Since 1970, air quality improved dramatically as concentrations of dangerous pollutants have plummeted by almost 75%. Oh my God, and the Supreme Court is currently undermining the EPA and any of their ability to regulate things like the air and water. Speaking of water, is it clean in the United States? Oh, I don't know. There was a Guardian study just recently, just this month, that analyzed water samples from around the United States to show that the type of water testing relied on by the EPA is actually so limited in scope, it's missing significant levels of PFAS pollutants. The Guardian found that 7 of 9 samples collected showed higher levels of PFAS in water using the test that identifies markers for PFAS than levels found when the water was tested using the EPA method at the concentrations as much as 24 times higher. Okay, so PFAS or PFASs, I don't know. They're a class of chemicals that have been used since the 50s to make products that repel water stains and heat. They're often called forever chemicals. And clearly, because they don't fully break down, they accumulate in the environment, humans and animals. Some are toxic at low levels and have been linked to cancer, birth defects, kidney disease, liver problems, decreased immunity, and other serious health issues. 24 times what the EPA found. This was an independent study, right? So even when the EPA is doing its job on our clean air and water, we're not actually testing, and hey, maybe we should run it through an extra filter before we put it into our bodies. Oh, Herschel, you sweet, 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 stupid man.